Georgia's seen in many, many decades, if not the worst storm that the state has seen, and it's going to pass through and impact numerous counties. High winds are going to impact the vegetation that's there, bringing down trees, bringing down power lines with them, and they need to be prepared. Not only Florida, but also Georgia needs to be prepared to see the power off for multiple weeks as this system pushes through. Another unfortunate aspect is the rainfall that's going to be associated with this storm as it pushes through South and North Carolina. Hopefully the forward speed of the storm will reduce the amount of rainfall that South Carolina and North Carolina sees, but as you all know, Florence passed through. The Cape Fear River and other river basins have yet to recede back to normal river levels, and any amount of rainfall through South and North Carolina is not welcomed. But unfortunately, it's going to be a reality, and it's going to cause problems as it pushes through as well. So right now, FEMA has nearly 3,000 people in the field. That doesn't include all of our federal partners that are there. We're doing everything that we can to pre-position not only incident management teams and disaster medical teams, but also rotary aircraft ready to go to support search and rescue missions. We have search and rescue teams staged to be able to move into Florida and to the areas highly impacted in Florida, but also Georgia as well. In regards to commodities, the state of Florida has strong capability that we're working hand in hand with right now. They have staging and distribution capability in Orlando. We've staged commodities and teams in Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama as well as Atlanta, ready to move in as soon as we can do so and push through. The great communication, just got off the phone with Governor Scott. The governor is leaning forward, doing everything that he can to position the state to be able to help his citizens. Last night, they made a very good move by using the wireless emergency alert system to let people know that this storm is getting stronger and stronger, and you need to leave. This is the final call for anybody that needs to get out. Try to do so. Those who stick around to experience storm surge don't typically live to tell about it, unfortunately. And with that, again, I want to reiterate, it's a whole community effort, not only the response part, but the recovery. It's going to take neighbor helping neighbor, citizens getting involved that haven't been impacted, donating their time and their money to help citizens recover all the way up to the federal government. So we ask you always to download the FEMA app. Go to disasterassistance.gov if you receive impacts from the storm. And then also go to nvoad.org, nvoad.org, if you're looking to volunteer and help those in need. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to our friends over at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Ken, come on.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And Michael did strengthen overnight to Category 4, 145 mile an hour winds. It's important to not focus just on the core of the storm. This is a huge storm. We're looking at a 200-mile wind spread from the center. So tropical storm force winds will be pulling out into portions of Alabama, even into portions of central Florida. And this is going to be a devastating storm, possibly historical. We're looking at storm surge flooding of 9 to 14 feet, and that's going to impact the areas. Fortunately, though, high tide will be occurring late tonight, but water at that level will push a lot of inundation into the coastal communities in Florida. And then once the storm passes to the north, we're looking at hurricane-force winds getting up into portions of Georgia. There's likely going to be widespread power outages, down trees, power lines, and structural damage, and the threat for tornadoes along the track of Michael. As we get into Thursday and into Friday, the heavy rain threat pushes into the Carolinas. We're looking at 9 rivers specifically that were impacted from Florence are likely to see additional flooding. Fortunately, this is not expected to stall. It will be moving quickly offshore, so any flooding that does occur should be short-lived, and then Michael will be pulling out to sea by this weekend. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ken. Next we have Captain Kaylee Benson with our partners over at the U.S. Coast Guard.
Good morning. We urge everyone in the path of Hurricane Michael to stay off the water, stay off the beaches, and heed all safety messages and evacuation orders from state and local authorities. Coast Guard is working in close coordination with our federal, state, and local partners to prepare for the arrival of the hurricane. And rest assured, captains of the port throughout all of the expected impacted areas and their teams have been working in close coordination with their respective maritime sectors in order to safely manage maritime operations and control the flow of cargo and supplies into each of the affected states in advance of the storm. And we are closing ports to vessel traffic and cargo operations as is necessary and based on the storm's movement. So as of this moment, Panama City, Pensacola, and Cedar Key are closed to commercial vessel traffic. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Captain. Next, Ray Alexander with the Army Corps of Engineers.
Thank you, Administrator Long. Good morning. Ray Alexander, Army Corps. The Corps of Engineers is fully integrated with the federal response and our fellow federal partners and our state and local stakeholders as well. Currently, we're in support of 3 FEMA mission assignments valued at over $1.4 million and another over $140,000 of our own flood control authorities. Brigadier General Diana Holland, the Commanding General for our South Atlantic Division, headquartered in Atlanta. She has the lead for the fight. She'll be at FEMA Region 4 today. Our district headquarters in Wilmington, Jacksonville, Savannah, and Mobile have activated, and those district commanders are out and about pre-storm. We have key leaders, liaison officers, technical subject matter experts located at state emergency operations centers and other key local and critical nodes throughout the area. In terms of dam and levee safety, currently we're assessing potential impacts to the 29 flood risk projects we have in the projected path. Right now, our assessment of our reservoirs, we have sufficient capacity to receive the rainfall. We are reviewing the potential for releasing additional releases out of those reservoirs, so there's a potential that a deviation might be prudent. We have no significant impact projected to Lake Okeechobee in Florida. In terms of temporary power, we have received a FEMA mission assignment. Our temporary power planning response team and our supporting contractors are located at the State EOC in Tallahassee. Additionally, we have soldiers from our 249th Engineer Battalion at the Incident Support Base in Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. For navigation, our survey vessels are in safe harbor, and they're postured to support our colleagues from the Coast Guard and NOAA to open ports, channels, waterways as soon as it is safe. No missions in debris, roofing, water, wastewater. We're postured to support EPA to do assessments and provide temporary power on water, wastewater facilities. Lastly, the Corps is fully synchronized with the Department of Defense efforts and U.S. Army North, U.S. Northern Command, and the Department of the Army. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ray. Finally, we have Reggie Cheatham with EPA, our partners over at EPA.
Thank you, Administrator Long, and good morning. The Environmental Protection Agency is ready to respond to environmental concerns related to Hurricane Michael and is working very closely with our state and local officials to prepare to address any impacts. The agency's pre-landfall activities related to the storm are complete. These activities include contacting facility operations and reviewing the status of Superfund sites, oil sites, and chemical manufacturing sites. Much of that information gathered during Hurricane Irma and more recently Tropical Storm Gordon. In addition, we are prepared to address post-landfall impacts should they occur. EPA is also in close coordination with the state of Florida. We have embedded an on-scene coordinator in the State Emergency Operations Center in Tallahassee to coordinate response efforts for oil and hazardous substance releases should they occur. We also have an on-scene coordinator posted in FEMA's Regional Response Coordination Center in Atlanta. And as needs arise or as things change, EPA will continue to coordinate and support our federal, state, tribal, and local government partners. Thank you.
All right. And last but not least, our partners over at the American Red Cross. Obviously, this is a huge mass care effort. So if we can have Mr. Peter Macias.
Good morning. Last night we had approximately 4,000 people who entered nearly 70 evacuation centers across the Panhandle of Florida and into Alabama. The Red Cross continues to leverage human and material resources to help with those evacuation centers. What we're doing is we're asking folks, please, if you're in the path of that storm, make your last-minute emergency preparations, and if that means to get out, please get out. And the last thing is we ask people, please, to listen to your local authorities, your local emergency managers, and heed their warnings and advisories. If you need real-time information, please download the Red Cross Emergency app. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Daniel?
Buenos días a todos, Daniel Yarguez, portavoz de FEMA. Les pedimos que tengan mucho cuidado con esta tormenta, una tormenta de gran magnitudes, como lo dijo el administrador.
All right, you've been listening to an update given by FEMA Administrator Long, who, again, just reiterating the points that have been made throughout the course of our coverage, that this storm will be catastrophic. It is one of the most powerful storms to hit the Florida Panhandle ever. If you are in the path of this storm, you need to be sheltered in place because right now it is too late. That is according to Governor Rick Scott. So we're going to continue to check in with FEMA. We're going to check in with our team of reporters who are on the ground, including Jeff Glor, the anchor of the CBS Evening News. We'll have updates throughout the course of our coverage here at CBSN. All right, for now, though, coming up after the break, the president is looking for a new UN ambassador after accepting Nikki Haley's resignation yesterday.
Up ahead, the name's already being thrown around as her possible replacement. You're streaming CBSN, CBS News, always on.